of missionaries taking long and far treks to forgotten villages all over the world. But have you ever heard of a missionary going to Hollywood?
Hi, I'm Brooke Baker, and I'm the Creative Arts Director here at Dream City Church, and we are going to be bringing our 42nd Celebration of Christmas show to you. There's two kids that you're going to see today that grew up doing this Christmas show. And I think it taught them a lot. They're both making a living today with things that they learned doing this Christmas show. They've learned how to dance, sing, stage presence. They've been able to learn how to use their gifts for the Lord. And I'm excited because I'm going to be doing the toy scene this year, which is a part of the Christmas show. And I'm going to be pouring into a bunch of children because I want to build kids and I want to show them how they can use their talents to further the kingdom and give them a purpose. I mean, who doesn't want a purpose? So the Christmas show does more than just bring the people in, sing Christmas songs, see a beautiful nativity. It really teaches the people who are performing it also. It pours into us as we learn how to give our talents to the Lord. And today when you see this interview, you're going to be excited to see these kids who have done something with what they learned to do at the Christmas show. We love Celebration of Christmas, and we are so privileged to get to be a part of it. We hope that you will enjoy it too, and we really hope to see you there.
Well, today's interview is very special because I will be talking with three people from our Creative Arts Department at Dream City Church. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So we have McKenna Sparks, Brooke Baker, and Brock Baker. All of you have an intricate role in our Creative Arts Department. And I think this is a unique concept in general because not many churches put a value on the Creative Arts Department. Brooke, can you tell us why Creative Arts is so important in the church?
Well, for me, it's because it makes the word come alive. I'm a visual learner. So I love when I see things that speaks to me. And anytime I put something on stage, I always hope that it'll speak to just at least one sitting in the audience. It'll make it come alive for them and help them to remember something that can help change their life.
It's a little better than the felt board, right?
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely. So McKenna, you are a direct result of the Creative Arts Department, and it's impacted your life and it's brought you to Dream City. Why is it so important to have the creative arts in the church?
I think it's exactly what you said. It's what pulled me into the church. It's what got me planted in the church, and I really grew a heart for everything that this church had a heart for. And I think ultimately that's what it's doing. It's bringing people who have an interest in dancing or singing, acting, anything, and it's taking that one interest and showing them what so much more what you can do with that.
Absolutely. And I think something the world's forgotten is that the creative arts started in the church, right? What's the point of singing? It was to sing your praises to God. So it started in the church, and that's the beauty of bringing creative arts back to the church. Now, Brock, I want to talk about you because you are the son of Miss Brooke Baker.
Yeah,
and
we're not twins, everyone, if you were thinking that.
Absolutely not. Well, anyways, you had him in our creative arts department since he was a young kid, and because of that, you are now a missionary out in Hollywood. And yes, I say missionary because you are taking God's message out from what you learned in the church out to Hollywood, where we all know Hollywood's very different.
Yeah.
And so
It's different,
how did your Hollywood story begin, and how did it start within the church?
Well, it's actually kind of cool because the Christmas production, actually you guys did 4th of July productions, but the Christmas production and 4th of July, I remember my very first recording I ever did was for the Christmas production. We actually recorded it in the sanctuary, and I sang, I think, a crown that's made of silver, or something like that. I don't know, we were singing Come On Ring Those Bells, but now my whole life, actually, I mean, a huge part of it is that I record music and produce music as well. So this church actually helped me understand the value of recording and then also performing. I mean, I was performing on the stage of this church, mostly in the Christmas production. And so once you have that under your belt where you're with thousands of people, not even hundreds, but thousands of people coming to see this, it really just always helped me have a confidence that whenever I hit a stage, nothing ever scared me. I never had a spirit of fear when I hit a stage. I can honestly say that there's never been a time that I've gone on a stage and felt like, oh my gosh, I don't have this. It's always felt comfortable, and in some situations, it's even felt more comfortable than sitting on a couch with 3 women talking about creative arts, you know. I'm really grateful for it, and now it's turned into, being a missionary in a sense, where I'm just trying to connect with people on a creative level, but then talk to them in the spiritual as well. And because LA and Hollywood is filled with so many people who are spiritual that are opening themselves up to all these different spirits, but we know that there is one spirit that is really the true spirit that we should be trying to please, which is the Holy Spirit and our God. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is bring that to our industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And have you been able to minister a lot to those people in Hollywood? Have you found that the doors are hard to open, or how has it been?
It was actually pretty cool. I've worked on a lot of different sets and shows, and I actually was chosen specifically for Glee when I did that to infiltrate the show to help the kids find Jesus. Really, the executive producer that got me to do the show, he said, "Brock, I know I've seen that you've done worship. I know that you're a pastor's kid. I know you love Jesus, and I think our kids need Jesus." He saw a lot of darkness on the set, and he was like, "I've got a couple of kids who I'm bringing in to try and help lighten the set." And so that was my first gig in Hollywood, and then from there it's turned into a lot of different things. But always, it seems, I've had my biggest jobs because of either people that love Jesus or people that want me to come in and lighten it up with the joy of the Lord. So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
And that's just so beautiful that when you carry Jesus in your heart, it's so evident to people. They want you around because you lighten a mood. How beautiful is that? Brooke, I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there who know their children have talents, singing, dancing, acting, and they wonder, could my kids ever use these talents for God, for ministry? What would you say to them?
Well, I have two scenarios because I have two kids.
Yeah.
And my first child, who is a couple years older than Brock, it's Blair, and she was always a shy girl, very reserved. And I can remember, I was telling McKenna this story today, when she was in 4th grade, she tried out for a part, and she didn't want to, and I made her. And she didn't want to. And how many times do kids tell you, I don't want to do it?
Yeah.
Right.
I closed the door. I said, you're trying out, whether you want to or not, and you're just going to give it a try. And she was, it's child abuse. 2 years later, she ended up getting the part. 2 years later, she wrote the most impactful thing in her life was getting this part, and it took this shy girl and made her confident.
Yeah.
Right.
And later on in high school, she became homecoming queen. And this was a shy girl.
Right.
But parents, I did it. I kind of pushed,
Yeah.
even though she didn't want to, because I knew it was something good for her. And then Brock, he was doing the Christmas show since he was 5 years old, and I was telling the story earlier. One day, he was supposed to be on stage, one of the performances, and no one could find him, and he was asleep underneath a chair. He was 5 years old.
I thought you were going to say he was in the synagogue preaching or something.
And
for
no,
3
he was
days.
he was sleeping underneath a chair. But the kids, I pushed them along. And sometimes your kids will like to do something like that, sometimes they won't. But a shy kid or an outgoing kid, they can all benefit for it.
Yeah.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about it too, and I love celebration of Christmas because I see people connect. Kids who maybe wouldn't love church, they get friends, and they start to love church more.
Yeah.
Because they have friends there. So there's so many positive things. It's a positive thing for the community.
Yeah.
It's for what we do for Arizona, for the community, but it's a beautiful thing for the people in the church and for their families.
Right.
So it has so many faceted.
Absolutely.
It's so faceted.
Well, you guys are inspiring hope to people in many different ways. You're inspiring hope in the community by giving them joy, giving them something exciting to watch, making the message of God come alive. And then you're also inspiring hope in individuals like Brock and McKenna, who are able now to take their talents
Absolutely.
that sometimes we believe can't be used in the church, but say, no, God can use these things for bigger things than I could ever imagine.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank
for
you.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Well, if you have a kid or maybe you have a talent that you want to use for God's kingdom, we have room for that at Dream City Church. We need you. We want you to be a part of our creative arts department. We've got talent camps. We've got shows all throughout the year. Check us out at dreamcitychurch.us to find more information.